Hi, everybody. How are you today?
Well, we've been rocking around the clock since 55. So let the good time roll one more time tonight.
How you guys doing
And when
tonight?
my hair starts turning gray, you're still gonna hear me say you're never too old to rock and roll. I saw her dancing on my TV, American Bandstand. There was a whole lot of shaking going on all across the land. And said the fad would never last. After a long, long time ago, you're never too old to rock and roll. Well, play me that rock and roll. It still thrills my soul. You're never too old. You're never too old to rock and roll.
Hi, Karen. How are you today? All right. How you guys doing? Yeah, all having a good day today, I hope. All right. Okay. Hi, Sandy. How are you today? Good, good. I'm glad you're doing good, Karen. I'm glad. All right. So, I don't know. All right. I had mentioned something about what is special things that you can, what do they call those things though? They were called super chat and stickers. I'm not sure if that's that up. If it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. I don't know. Couldn't figure it out. But anyway, so we are going to finish the chapter in Is Elvis Alive? We're going to finish the desecration. All right, and then we will open the floor. Um, the rest of this chapter is about basically her questioning why her book was taken off the shelves, and then writing another book and finding out that what she had in that book came true. So that's quite interesting. So I'm going to just start and people can join on. I'm reading. Okay, let me see. I'm reading Lisa's book. I can't put it down. It's so interesting. Yes, I heard it was a sad book. I heard it was very sad. I have not read it yet. But I might eventually. So, hi Tim, how are you today? I'm just gonna. Hi Karen, how are you today? Hi Sandy. All right. So, um, Karen said she got the book and it's so sad. Yeah. I think Rita did too, and she said it was very sad. It was good but sad. I think a lot of those kind of books are bittersweet, you know. Now I'm sorry, this lamp has been very bright on my glasses, so I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm trying to figure out how to get it off the glasses. I've been angling it different ways. It doesn't work, but I need the light because I need to read. So I'll just try that there. All right. So without further ado, it's sad, but I'm used to having multiple losses in my life as well. Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm actually very fortunate. I still have my parents um around. I don't have my grandparents anymore though. And I don't have a brother. My brother died. But other than that, I have everybody else still around. My husband's a different story. My husband's aunts and uncles and father are all gone, except for his mother. So you're looking at it in a different angle. Yes. Okay. Yeah. She had a lot to do. She had a lot to endure. and a big secret to hold for all those years, and she couldn't even say anything about it in her book either. Because remember, EPE does not want that secret out, so she died with the secret. Anyway, we're going to finish reading the Desecration chapter, and then I'll open the floor for more comments. Okay, so I'm going to I know where I left off. All right, so we are reading. All right. So I continued this slide because it was a continuation of the thought. Now she was saying that did the Colonel have William and Morris Agency contact her publisher to hang the book? Well, we're going to, I think, where was it? Okay, so I'm just going to continue here. I'm going to pick up right here where she ends with Elvis and me. Now, I might be repeating a little bit, but that's okay because it's been a week since we went over this before. Okay, so throughout Mr. Goldman's book is a mention of some of the people who were in contact with me, advising me to give them an exclusive on handling of Orion, suggesting I not show the manuscript to anyone. I reread their letters, noted how anxious they were, noted also that it was the ending of Orion, which was fascinating, an ending whereby the singer and the famous manager hoaxed to death. When it Was it possible that in this day and age censorship had occurred? Or was it possible my novel had touched upon something? Had Orion become a victim of a cover up because it exposed a cover up? How could I possibly find out? Who would talk to me? I called William Morris. No one called back. I tried contacting the New York office, the Nashville office, and the West Coast office. Nothing. Could it be possible that the people closest to the Colonel were courting me only to stop me? Who would admit such a thing? Everyone agreed that the William Morris Agency is a giant in the literary world. It would be ill-advised for me to make any connections between the demise of Orion, the Colonel, William Morris, or the publisher. There was no way you can even win, even if you proved the connection. No publisher, no agent, no editor would want to buck heads with William Morris. Professionally, whether you suspect or can document the possibility you were a victim, you'll end up being hurt. I continued to seesaw with both my questions and answers. The William Morris Agency had been very polite. I could not accuse anyone of anything. Although it seemed unlikely, everything that had happened with the Orion project must be chalked up to coincidence. Yet I couldn't help replay the conversations in the meetings with representatives from William Morris. Why had I been so hesitant to sign with them? Were my instincts to be trusted? Secretly, I cried into my pillow. True, keeping the money was fine. Yet I felt like I had given birth to a beautiful baby, and then, after its birth, having it aborted or killed. Anyway, through writer Maxine Rock, I contacted her New York agent. She, in turn, called my former editor, who had since left the publishing house and was with the National Syndicate. Hearing the name Orion is a ghost from the past, the editor told the agent. She said it was rumored that the Colonel went to the head of Simon and Schuster, something was worked out, and the book was hung. The agent wrote me about this matter. I have purposely deleted her name from the letter because, one, she did me a favor, and two, she must deal on a daily basis with top publishers and editors, Simon Schuster included. I would not want to do anything to jeopardize her position in the literary pecking order. Most of the major publishers depend on William Morris for some top writers. One editor told me, it's certainly not a good financial move for a publisher to cross them. If the Colonel had someone like William Morris go to Simon Schuster with a request that Orion be stopped, perhaps with the threat of possible litigation, then the publisher might do it or obey. I'm not going to tell you the name on here because I'm the word on here, but it means obey. William Morris is powerful, and you're a new writer, expendable. For instance, if a powerful agent with some top writers goes to a certain house, he has bargaining power. He can use his stable of money makers to the advantage. Multiply that theory 1,000 times over with William Morris, and you have your answer. It was obvious there was little I could do. I could prove my connection with William Morris Agency. I could prove the Colonel and Elvis connection with the William Morris Agency. I could prove a connection between the William Morris Agency and Simon Schuster. I could prove Orion was gone. What I couldn't prove was what did it all connect? All right. So after she contacted that editor, she found out that Orion, from somebody, the Colonel went to Simon and Schuster and had the book hung so that he wouldn't be found out that he helped mastermind the plan. Like we went over that in the last episode or the last live I went on Thursday. Okay. So she has a bunch of papers in between here that are like letters to the publishers and all that, and I'm not going to go over those. If anyone has copies of this book, they can look at that themselves. All right, so this book is pretty well available anywhere anyway. It's not very rare, so it's easy if you guys want to buy one. All over eBay, I know that. So, and probably some other places. Okay. So she said, I doubt very much if the Colonel could physically walk into a New York publisher's office. If such a thing had been done, it would seem reasonable that the Colonel would have used his representatives. In this case, William Morris. Would William Morris be capable of that sort of thing? Giving everyone the benefit of the doubt, I tried everything possible to sort it all out. I usually ended up with a full circle in my questioning. In the meantime, the mysterious masked singer, Orion, was also disappearing. I believe in coincidence, but all of this is too coincidental. Over and over, I studied the floating pieces of the puzzle. A fiction book, agents, publishers, the power of money, a mystery singer, and the two of them, movie producers, and then nothing. I can't understand why the singer has also disappeared. I mentioned to one of my attorneys. It could be all connected, since you managed to get a contract in spite of maybe the Orion singer thing was a safeguard. I don't understand, she said. It could have been another way of stopping the book, of making sure no one took it seriously. People would think it was about this Lone Ranger singer, that it was a hokey, a gimmick. The entire Orion project was too bizarre to believe. Also, too bizarre to believe was that Orion was unintentionally the weed in someone's bed of roses. I was too insignificant in importance to be part of a conspiracy, wasn't I? And without design or intention, I had become the hub of a mini poked wheel. And people continued to call. The fans sent information and questions. They wanted to hear what I had to say. Yet what could I say? I never intimated Elvis Presley was alive. I never wanted to play Geraldo Rivera and do an investigative piece on the cover-up of the death of Elvis Presley. All I wanted was to earn a living as a writer of fiction. And I tried to let the Orion matter drop. My family life was suffering. I hurt inside. I decided to go back and work on the novel that I had begun prior to writing Orion, now entitled Dream of a Vagabond. I had the first drop, she had it copywritten or copyrighted in October of 1979. This is important to note because of what since occurred with that novel and how it fits in with the Orion picture. And you're going to see why she's making a connection here with the Orion picture. So she decided to pick up that book that she was going to read or write before Orion, and she put it down and she wrote Orion. Now she's picking this up. But this will be interesting because what this book was about, and I'm just going to give you like a little synopsis here instead of reading it right out of the book. Gail received the copyright in 1979, and it concerned a presidential candidate. And due to the clandestine meetings with a young woman. So he basically had an affair, okay? He was a presidential political candidate. And this is the book, okay? So the press found out, and he withdrew from the race. Back in 1987, so this would be 1988 presidential election, we had a candidate called Gary Hart. And I don't know if anyone remembers Gary Hart. Well, he was accused of having an affair or meetings with Donna Rice. And the power of the press confronted him with evidence strong enough to force him to withdraw from the presidential race. And she said this was 9 years or 8 years after she wrote the book, Dream of a Vagabond. So she thinks that there might be some type of, I don't know, prophetic voice on her or something, or psychic powers or something. Because it seemed that this isn't the only book, or the only event in the book that came true. This Dream of a Vagabond. She also said that, let's see, down here, I'm going to see. So it was quite interesting how that fit in with a real life event, but later on, right? She said there were many other major scenes in Dream of a Vagabond which came true after I wrote them. One concerns a firebombing of a black neighborhood near Philadelphia, caused by the actions of the black radical group called FIRE, F-I-R-E. Incredibly, in May of 1985, a black neighborhood in Philadelphia was firebombed. The group that promoted the attack was called MOVE. The MOVE fire and the reasons surrounding it was so close to what I had written as fiction that it was very eerie. So that was another incident where in this book, Dream of a Vagabond, where a real life event happened almost exactly like what she had written. Okay. She said the novel is full of events which have come true and some of which I think could be true. But one in particular concerns a young lady named Davy O'Haley. She was politically outspoken, especially about the war in Vietnam. She was kind of similar to Jane Fonda's look, personality, stuff like that. And there comes a point where she actually was contacted by our governor to go to Hanoi as a secret agent. Our governor warns her that if she is caught, they will deny all connection with her. And they know that since she was vocally against the war in Vietnam, that there is a good chance that she will be a welcome guest in Hanoi. Although in America, she will be viewed as a traitor. The purpose of the secret mission is to look around and possibly meet some of the POWs. And she is even taught a secret blinking code. Basically, she is asked to put her body where her mouth is, and Davies agrees. I guess this is the character in her book. And she knows her life is on the line, and she knows how she will be viewed, and she knows she will never tell anyone of her role, and she knows if she does, no one will ever believe her. Our government will deny such involvement, and morally, she could put the POWs in danger. Ultimately, she is dropped from the mission, and Davy reads that Jane Fonda has gone to Hanoi. She wonders if the movie star activist was chosen instead, and that rather than Jane Fonda being Hanoi Jane, a traitor, she's actually an American hero? Personally, I believe that the possibility exists. I have great respect for Jane Fonda and her special brand of integrity, as well as that of her husband, Tom Hayden. Whether I am on target again remains to be seen. Only history will tell. However, I do believe that if Jane Fonda had been asked to put her body where her mouth was, she would have done it. If you think this is a far-fetched idea, ask yourself this. How did an ordinary citizen end up in Hanoi during the war? Could you or I have casually gone? If what I believe is true, then Jane Fonda is the catch-22 position, and if she told the truth, no one would believe her. Our government could not back her. Perhaps we wouldn't cast stones so quickly. History may indeed prove that Jane Fonda is truly an American hero, which says the events may not always be as they appear. Anyway, she's saying without going too far off track as far as Orion is concerned. Now, see, now she's going to tie this in. It does appear that I have a good record of capturing contemporary events prior to their happening or prior to the public's awareness of them. I do not consider myself psychic. I think she is, but that's besides the point. Still, I believe in the existence of a sixth sense, intuition, whatever one chooses to call it. And I've also found that all the human beings have creative abilities, whether to be in music, in poetry, cooking, or art. Sometimes I am shocked as to what I write, particularly when it comes to pass, yet I am not amazed by it. So I've been educated about the levels of the mind, the alpha level being the most creative and the most physically connected with the universe. Anyone who has ever created anything knows that what I am talking about. At the alpha level, you become so totally involved that time flies. It is a joyful experience. As for me, during the creation of Orion, I always felt the novel wrote itself. So without sermonizing, I have already believed in a higher power, God, whomever you conceive the universe oneness to be. My relationship with my own soul and that of a higher being is personalized. I do not flaunt it or sell it or market it or make it into law. I do not brag about it or declare my perceptions are only perceptions, that my way is only my way, the only way. My knowledge of the infinite is but a decimal of the truth. So more than one person has pointed out that I share the same birthday as the psychic Edgar Case, March 18th. I have been tested in front of many authorized witnesses and proven to be highly sensitive. My inner mind is vulnerable to outside energies, suggestions, and moods. I personally believe that no matter how developed or energized component is, all life is part of the same universe and its laws. I believe that we share one level or another, both the universal energy and higher energy. And I was at an all-time energized high when I created Orion, being in touch with my own soul and felt its soul. I definitely was in touch with something. Under most circumstances, I would back away from this sort of personal revelation. I've seen too much victimization perpetrated in the name of religion to infringe on my philosophies and beliefs on anyone else. Still, because so much of what I had written has materialized, this element has to be touched upon. So during the creation of Orion, a part of me felt Elvis had not died. However, since I believe in eternal life, since I believe in the existence of the soul beyond the physical, I must question whether my feelings of Elvis still living simply related to the spiritual existence rather than the physical existence. I am and I was, Elvis said during his final concert tour. Was he trying to tell us something? Okay. So, like I said, it wasn't very it was meaty, but it wasn't like about that much about Elvis being alive. It's more about her philosophies and everything else. So, the events on that book came true. All right. In some of the books. And then she states that the book Orion proved that she had good intuition and it helps her predict things happening. I mean, who else could predict that other than maybe a prophet? Um, I'm not going to say that she has a prophetic gifting, but it could be a possibility. We don't know. But she claims to be very spiritual, felt maybe in her psyche that Elvis didn't die that day. Okay. Well, that's the end of the chapter. Yay! All right. I told you she's very wordy. All right. Okay. So I'm going to open the floor for discussions. I had kind of covered a little bit of this earlier. So if anyone else has anything to, I guess, share or comment on, please do it now or forever hold your peace. All right. Yeah. So, all right. So I did start this, I guess this live stream off with You're Never Too Old to Rock and Roll. I'm still not sure who's singing this song. Sometimes it sounds like Jimmy. Sometimes it sounds like Elvis. I don't know. Okay, so someone had mentioned a comment on the last live stream about down in Mississippi. Now I had already did a video on that song. So anyone who questions down in Mississippi, they can get that video underneath the video section, I believe, in this channel. All right, and the next chapter in this book is called Treasures. So this will be an interesting chapter. And it's not super long. I'm going to try to get it done in one, but I'm not sure if I will. There's a lot of questions in it that she asks that I remember. All right. So, anyway, I hope you guys all have a good night. And remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel. Please subscribe. And when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to throw a party, or what do you call it? Like I did with the birthday on YouTube, on Facebook. And we're going to do a countdown of our the most watched music videos on this channel. All right. And good night, Karen. We'll see you later. I'm going to play the rest of the song and then I'm going to sign off if no one responds. You're welcome. Good night, Tim. I may be back on probably Thursday night.
Went down to the rock and roll show.
I don't think it will be on this one. It might be on something else. Just kind of break it up.
She kept dancing all the way home. Tore all my dance clothes, so you're never too old to rock and roll. Well, believe that rock and roll, oh, it still thrills my soul. You're never too old to rock and roll. Yeah, when my hair starts turning gray, still gonna hear me say, oh, you're never too old to rock and roll. I said you're never too old to rock and roll. I said you're never too old. Yeah, to rock and roll.
You guys have a good night. God bless y'all. And have a happy Sunday. And I should be back on probably Thursday night. I'm not sure if I'm going to do Facebook or here. But whichever one I do, I will put it on here or there. Either one. Okay? And you guys have a good night. God bless you all. Remember to share, like, and favorite this video. Thank you.